Tonight is the night. Rudolph and I flew down from the North Pole special. We heard this was going to be the most exciting show that we've had in years. Gonna be something really special. Of course, we've actually been flying back and forth over Beacon Hill for quite a while. Rudolph needed a little practice this year. See, he's getting up in age now. He's now 73 years old. He was born in 1939. And actually, I didn't own him originally. His original owner was a man called Robert May. And Robert wasn't very good at naming reindeer. His original name was supposed to be Rollo. Can you imagine Rollo, the red-nosed reindeer? Didn't work. So somebody told him, you need a new name. So he picked out Reginald. Can you believe that? Reginald the reindeer. Well, I heard about him, and I said, you know, I really think that reindeer would work for me. Somebody told me about his nose. And I said, my, a reindeer that has a glowing nose, that would be so great. So I went and I picked him up from Robert, but we renamed him to Rudolph. It was much easier to call him Rudolph than Reginald. That just didn't work. But anyway, like I say, we've been flying back and forth. And the other morning, we flew over Beacon Hill, and he lit up his nose so bright I thought he was going to outdo the sun. And I thought, what in the heck is with him? Well, it turned out he saw all the flags on top of your building in the health center where you're putting a new roof, and he thought those flags were for him. But, yeah, Rudolph needed a little practice this year, and the reason is, you know, he's not real good at landing quietly on roofs anymore. In fact, he woke a little girl up last year. And I went down into the house through the chimney, and I'm bending down, putting my sack on the floor, and I felt a little tug on my jacket. And I didn't pay much attention. I thought, well, somebody's puppy. Then I bent over to put something under the tree, and somebody yanked on my beard. Got my attention in a hurry. So I turned around and I look, and here is this little girl, maybe 3 years old or so, and she's like this. I thought, I wonder what she wants. So I reached down and got to her thing, and she's whispering in my ear. And I got such a belly laugh out of what she said. I said to her, no, dear, reindeer are not horses with TV antennas on their head. Anyway, we've been sort of on a little diet program at the North Pole. I've been worried about my elves because Mrs. Claus is always feeding them cookies. So I asked them one day, I said, what is it you have for breakfast? And the head elf that does the cooking, he says, oh, Frosted Flakes. I said, oh, that sounds pretty good. I said, how about lunch? He says, well, we get alphabet soup. I said, okay, that sounds really good. But I got concerned about how their diet was, and I thought, you know, they really need to, you know, make a garden this year. So they went out, and instead of one garden, they ended up making 3. And I said, why would you make 3 gardens? They said, oh, so you can ho, ho, ho. Well, anyway, we've really been having a lot of fun at the North Pole. You know, kids today are a little different than you were years ago. You know, I have to work extremely hard making new toys this year. And the reason is they're not into the same mode that we were. I have a whole storeroom full of bicycles. They don't ask for bicycles as much anymore. They don't want erector sets or Tinker toys or Monopoly games or any of that stuff. It all has to be these new electronic gadgets that they never get outside. No. I do have to admit, though, we are still getting rid of dolls. Little girls still ask for dolls. And the little boys, they still like the little toy soldiers. So those are doing very well this year. Anyway, this show is about to start. Siobhan's going to be your MC tonight. And I think you're going to find this show very exciting. But I know they're going to want some audience participation. So we're going to try a little audience participation right now. Everybody knows this. Knock, knock. Who's there? Mary. Merry Christmas and good night to all.